Yeah, so Star Wars Battlefront is coming out
tomorrow.
Is it?
The 17th.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17th.
So many games are coming out. Like LA Noire just came out on the Switch.
The Horizon
DLC.
Yeah, Horizon DLC just came out or is coming out.
Well, we're in that time where like literally everything comes out, and then it's all gonna be on sale for one day next Friday.
And every game has had a terrible launch so far.
That's about right.
Yeah, Call of Duty leaked everywhere, and now Battlefront 2 is having gambling accusations.
The best launch of all time. Yeah, so if you're listening to this by now, you'll know that EA went back on everything they've done in the last week or two, and then said they're temporarily removing microtransactions from Battlefront 2. Does that mean that the game's going to be the same way it was yesterday, but now I can't buy loot boxes?
So yeah, can you still earn these loot boxes?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Can you play 20 multiplayer matches and earn one loot box? Like before?
Yeah, and for people that aren't like aware, essentially the biggest problem with Battlefront 2 is that it had free-to-play mechanics like to an extreme, but you still had to pay, you know, upwards of $79 to get the game.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a random person. I go, oh, I really like Star Wars, like my roommate. I'm gonna go pay $100 for this game, and then you get it. It's like, well, how do I play as Darth Vader? I really like Darth Vader. I have to play for 40 hours.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. You know, there were some reports coming around that it's gonna take 4,800 hours of gameplay to earn everything. And obviously that's like an extreme, and that's literally every single thing possible that you can earn in the game. But that's still 4,800 hours.
Yeah, putting in a couple days worth of game time into one game is a lot as it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like I've, since World War II's come out, I've put in just over a day's worth of gameplay, and that's me playing every day. Other people don't do that with these with any games for the most part. Even the most avid Star Wars fans aren't going to put in 4,800 hours worth of game time.
Well, that's
unlock
literally
all the characters.
That's literally 200 days.
Yeah,
that's almost a year.
And that's constantly.
Yeah.
No eating, sleeping, working, or doing anything.
Yeah, and that's still at the whim of like, yeah. So if I went to the Hypervolg time chamber and played for 4,800 hours, I still better be fucking lucky with those loot boxes.
Exactly.
Like that's the biggest problem with this. And I think if a game came out and it was free, it's like, hey, the next Star Wars is free to play, but because it's free, you have to do X, Y, and Z to earn all the characters you want, and you can buy this. I don't think people would be so mad.
No.
Because the price for admission is free, and it's still like, the most unfortunate thing is it's such a fun game, and like the, you know, hour I've played of it, the footage is on the website, like it's so much fun, and I'm still excited for it, but fuck, I really want to just be able to like, oh, I'm gonna play as Darth Maul now. Not let me play for 40 hours with Rey or Kylo, get really good with them, and then go, well, I guess I'll try a new character now, and then suck for a while. Like, where's the fun in that?
It seems like a giant mess. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all from my perspective. And I was just explaining this literally a few hours ago. It seems to me like you're paying for a campaign, and that's about it.
Yeah, and the problem with that too is the campaign is only a couple hours now, and you have cinematics and stuff. Like, it just seems like this is more of the same shit that happened with the first Battlefront. Did you play that one at all?
No.
Okay, so the first Battlefront came out, and there was no campaign, no single player. Literally, it was multiplayer only, and it was only these big scale battles, and it was such a piece of crap. In first-person shooters, when you shoot someone in the face, they tend to die.
Yeah.
Not in Battlefront, because apparently in the Star Wars universe, headshots don't kill anybody. Like, it was so bad, and it took them a year to make it good, and now Battlefront 1 is actually kind of okay. But at this point, like, you can play it and nobody's playing. Like, I would boot it up and nobody was on, because at that point, it's, why would I play this game? So with Battlefront 2, they fix all that by making you have these classes, and then you earn up, and okay, cool, now that I have made 20 kills and I've done all this cool shit and like a bunch of grenade hits and stuff, I have enough points to pick Kylo and come out and wreck everybody as Kylo, when before I would have to run up to a random coin that was spinning, and it was like a roulette if I was going to get it. But the biggest problem with that now is that they just took a really fun game and then said, how can we make as much money as possible? But instead of like doing it in a way that would make sense. They just made it shitty. Because and like you and I are probably in the minority here where we don't care. Like I don't mind buying loot boxes.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, like I really don't mind because for the most part, like I'll find something in it and be like, cool, this is, or I really like the game enough to where it's like, yeah, I'll pay $5 and get this loot box, and it makes a game that I'm already having a ton of fun with even more fun.
Exactly.
But when it's like this, it's a gamble to get it, and that's the other big thing too, is that people are seeing this as gambling because it kind of is. Like this is clearly my opinion right now. I think when they made this game, they thought, okay, let's try to make the game that we can get the most money out of from someone, you know, turning players into payers, and what better way to do that than to do it with Star Wars. It's coming out alongside the new Star Wars movie, and clearly the last one did well. You know, even like, I'll turn on the old one and still smile because it has that amazing John Williams score and R2 zooming around the screen and stuff. But to get back to my point, like I feel like they thought, let's make a game where we can turn it into the free-to-play model but still make everyone pay a ticket to get in, and it's clearly backfired on them. Like it just sucks. And the thing is that no matter what, it's gonna sell 10 million copies and it's fucking Star Wars. And once that movie comes out, everyone's gonna forget it, and so many people that don't even like know who EA is are gonna go to the store and go, oh, Star Wars, cool.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people who don't know about this.
And it became like a mainstream news thing, but it is cool that EA, instead of just looking at the bottom line and saying, you know what, fuck it, we don't care, they're actually like doing the quote-unquote right thing. But it's, you know, it's still something that I'm curious to see what temporarily removing microtransactions even does.
Unless they totally reevaluate the whole system in general, I don't think it's going to really do anything.
Yeah, so in the official EA public statement, we hear you loud and clear, so we're turning off all in-game purchases. We'll now spend more time listening, adjusting, balancing, and tuning. This means that the option to purchase crystals in-game, crystals being the hard currency, is now offline, and all progression will be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available on a later date, only after we've made changes to the game. So hopefully they modify it and make it just a bit more like casual player friendly. Because I don't mind if it's, hey, spend crystals and get like the Darth Vader as a ghost costume or whatever, like that's cool. But you know, if literally everything is locked behind like the premium currency, it's
gonna turn off the casual player. Like I want to buy this game, but after all this controversy, until I hear about this microtransaction issue being fixed, I probably won't get it. I definitely want to play this game for the campaign, and I wanted to try the multiplayer aspect of it, but not if I'm going to turn it on and everybody's going to be Darth Vader because they dropped $300. Like you know, I like other games. I personally like Call of Duty, so I'm going to invest my money and time into that. And all the other games that are big titles, I play for fun. I'm a casual player, so this turns me off. But the game looks so good, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay away. And that kind of brings me to like another point I wanted to bring up with you. Is what are some good things about the game? I don't want to completely trash it. You know,
as easy as it is to like bag on Battlefront II, it's such a fun game. Like, and I played an early build of it at E3, and they fixed everything that was wrong with the previous one. Like now you have classes you can play as like a heavy, a light, sniper, whatever, like most games have. It felt like it was like Star Wars greatest hits. So you had like the clone troopers from the prequels and Darth Maul, but then you also had modern, like the Nazi type of guys, you know, all kind of mixed together. It just felt like the coolest like Star Wars game. So much fun. I think right now it's a big controversy, but in 6 months, you know, only time will tell. But I can totally see people being so fine with it, and in a couple months looking back and going like, oh, they totally fixed it and good on them, and they made this into like this really awesome game. I mean, it's still better than the ones that came out on the PS2, so which that's going to give me a lot of hate for saying that.
I think one of the biggest things to take away from here is that companies like Activision and EA are... This microtransaction thing is new. They don't exactly know what they want to do with it. The idea, yes, it's been around for a while.
It is still...
But they're formulating it.
It's still a little scummy, though, a lot of times.
It is scummy in some sense. In this way, it's scummy.
Yeah, and I don't go on the extreme end where people are like, oh, if it has microtransactions, then, like, fuck them. But when it is a large chunk of the game, that's the problem. Yeah, when it's things like an Overwatch where it's just like, hey, you want your person to have like cooler clothes? Like, it doesn't change the game. I don't see them in the clothes, but yeah, it's like, cool, okay, I'll get that loot box, and
yeah, it's fun.
now I have a better person.
And you don't have to. It doesn't make or break the game.
Yeah,
but
when it literally, the game is built on that.
But games aren't like they were when Nintendo 64s were around. Like James Bond or 007 game for 64 did not need microtransactions. The game was the way it was.
Yeah.
And now everything is, we're so interconnected, and we get bored with games after 2 seconds. If they didn't have things to entertain us with, then we would play Overwatch, and then after 2 days we'd be bored as hell with it.
It's so crazy to think there was a time where I would regularly put in Inspector Gadget on the Super Nintendo and play through it all the way through.
A bunch of times.
But like, well, this is cool. And then now I'll literally play Mario and go, this fucking sucks, and then return it the next day. Which I did.
That's crazy. I know that's where we are, and I think microtransactions satisfy that. And to quote,
it definitely, well, it makes an old thing feel new.
Yeah.
And especially, there's a lot of things too. Like, if you notice when you're opening a loot box, your controller shakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Gets a couple more decibels higher, and then boom, it pops, and it's this big like pinata.
Yeah.
You know, it's so scummy, but goddamn, does it feel good to open a good box.
It does.
Yeah. So speaking of dopamine highs, Illumination Entertainment, creators of the Minions and the Despicable Me franchise, Alex's favorite, are apparently in talks with Nintendo to make a Mario animated movie. For those of you that are like familiar with the original Mario movie that came out in the early 90s, that's a giant piece of crap. So anything will be better than that. And I think, even though I'm not like a fan of the Minions at all, I did like the first Despicable Me. I think if you have like a studio like that kind of in charge, and they take the Mario world, which has become more sunshine and rainbows and silly, charming, and kind of add that in there with their like filmmaking style, it could be pretty cool.
I just hope it's not as over the top as games like Mario Galaxy. Like, that stuff just really turned me off.
I could see them doing just like a full on
bubbly.
I don't know. Do you think they would do like a like an origin story, or would it just be? Because at this point, who the fuck doesn't know what Mario is?
I don't know. Well, the story is just. It would be like
making. Yeah, it would be like making a Mickey Mouse cartoon and going like, the first 20 minutes is, where did Mickey Mouse come from? Like,
I honestly don't know what they.
I don't know what they would do. But
I don't know how. Like that. When we were watching that weird animation thing with Yoshi, that was interesting because it was like about getting Yoshi and.
Well, that was from the original. There was a Mario cartoon called the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah.
Which is the most 80s thing ever made. Yeah. But yeah, I can see it being cool, and then even though it's still in like the rumor early stages, I can definitely see it happening because Universal has nothing outside of the Minions. You know, their Monster Universe just got canceled. I know you're really excited for that, so sorry. And since they are going to be opening like a Mario World, Mario Land in their Universal theme parks, I can totally see them doing a movie to coincide with that, just to kind of drum up hype for it. Because, you have like, right now Universal, you have Harry Potter and Simpsons. They're losing any Marvel they had, and I think Shrek is going next.
Is leaving the park?
Yeah, from what I heard.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I actually think Shrek is totally closed out now. So like, Universal has nothing, and if they can say, "Hey, but we have Nintendo," like that's gonna make me go to the park.
Yeah,
that's gonna make
a Nintendo park
people.
Would be cool. I think a theme park would be way better than a movie though. Like, but walking around and seeing like the little the sewer pipes with the flowers coming out, and like a little brick box with a question mark over your head. Like, that'd be sick.
Yeah, but if you're also like, what you're forgetting is that since Illumination is Universal's animated feature division, and they can't just put out Minions every single year. They have to have something else. Like, that's Mario would definitely put them on the map alongside. Like, that's enough where that could go against a Pixar movie or a DreamWorks movie over a holiday season.
It would have to be their own story though. They can't have the Mario saving Peach thing.
No, it'll probably be something different. But even if it is just Mario saving Peach, so many people will go see that.
It would be cool.
That it's gonna happen. I can't imagine it not happening. The only thing that'll suck though is that it means that Wreck-It Ralph 2 might not have any Mario characters in it. But
Oh, because that was like a video game.
Yeah, because Bowser's in Wreck-It Ralph 1
right.
and stuff. But yeah, that's actually, I'm super optimistic about that. What I'm not optimistic about though is Overwatch getting a movie.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, recently Blizzard has kind of been hinting at wanting to make a full feature-length movie for Overwatch, and while most people like me would agree that the shorts are really good and they're really like Pixar caliber short films, I honestly think a full 90 to 120 minute movie with Overwatch characters about their world would get so stale.
It would.
And because the short films work, because they're only a couple minutes, it's enough where it's like, oh, where do these characters come from? What are they? And then, okay, now I'm going to go back and kill them all in the game. If I watched a whole movie of it, I would get... It would just be too much.
I don't think there's enough depth there. Like, Mario is like a staple to life.
There's enough with Mario that they could literally have a movie where every 2 minutes a new character will pop up and you'll be like, oh my god, that's Charge and Chuck.
There's so many.
There's the Goombas, and that can be just a movie where they just popped up on... where literally it can just say on the screen, hey, do you remember this? And it shows Yoshi.
Yeah.
And I go, fuck.
Wario,
hey.
that other skinny guy.
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
It could be a long intro, and I would leave the theater and go, man, what a film.
Yeah.
With Overwatch, I feel like I just don't think it would be good. You know, but who knows? They could get some insanely talent. Like, I always thought Cars would be stupid, and Cars is probably my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
I don't know. I'm more hopeful for.
But that's not a video game.
That's it. But I'm more hopeful for Mario being the first video game movie that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
So that would be cool.
Most video game movies are not great. I mean, I just never... Tomb Raider, Resident Evil...
Well, they're making a new Tomb Raider right now.
None of these movies...
I watched Assassin's Creed on a plane.
They all are stupid. I mean...
It's only good because I was on a plane.
The only reason Mario would be interesting would be if it's animated.
Yeah, because the Mario world, it is whimsical and it's been getting more...
It's like...
cheesy over time.
It's like a Beatles song.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be perfect. If it had that kind of like deadpan Pixar humor mixed in with this Mario world that's still a little dark but still like has these highs and lows of like Mario and Luigi just like kicking everyone's ass and stuff. Like,
I think
I'm getting excited thinking about it now.
Well, I think the weirdest thing, and this just popped into my head about Mario, a Mario movie, is dialogue, because there's no dialogue in Mario games.
I mean, there is a guy who voices them.
Yeah, but he just goes like wahoo and like stuff like that. He's never like, Peach, come over for whatever, for cobbler. You know, it's like there's none of that. So it's like hearing a bunch of dialogue. Line. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. It's always just like text in all the games.
What if it? And who knows? They could go crazy and everyone else could talk about Mario and just.
It could be. You never know. That's what scares me. Is seeing that.
But there are people that get paid a lot of money that are very good at figuring that stuff out.
No, you're right. I'm not denying it.
Well, speaking of disappointments, the nominee list for the 2017 Game Awards just got announced. And have you ever watched the Game Awards before?
No, I've never looked into them.
Okay, so
but it's
do you remember Spike TV?
Yeah, of course.
Remember the VGAs?
Mm-hmm.
Because Spike TV isn't a thing anymore. Well, I don't know if they're around anymore, whatever. They don't do video game awards, so they did the Game Awards. Mm-hmm. And the first year, we'll go into history about Game Awards for a second. The first year they did it on their own, it was called VGX.
Yeah, I remember
and it's one of the greatest things ever because they had, who's the guy who was in Community and hosted Talk Soup? Talk Soup. God, how old am I?
Oh my God.
Soup.
You're literally, it's like one of those
I just showed that I'm almost 30 by saying Talk Soup.
Were you asked?
Yeah, anyways, so he was hosting it alongside this games industry.
Joel McHale.
Yeah, Joel McHale was hosting it alongside this, let's start over with that. So, quick history about the Video Game Awards. Like, you remember Spike TV, right?
Yeah.
So, before that, there was the VGAs, Video Game Awards. And then Spike stopped doing it because who the fuck is watching that?
Yeah.
So, they decided to do, like, this online show. And it's always been hosted by this guy, Jeff Keighley, who is, like, industry veteran, you know.
In the video game world?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's like, the guy. For as far as, like, news goes and stuff. Like, he's the top one.
Sure.
So they did their first spin-off and they called it VGAs. And if you watch it online, it is one of the craziest things because you had Joel McHale hosting it alongside him. You can tell that Joel McHale doesn't want to be there and doesn't care about video games, but it's what makes it so good because the whole time he is just roasting people alive. Like, he's making fun of Jeff Keighley for wearing like a jacket over a sweater, over a button-up shirt,
over like a pajama bottom.
Yeah, and they're supposed to do well, and the dialogue, you can tell he just doesn't want to do it because it's the cheesy like, wow, wasn't that cool? And in this next game coming up, but he'll just come and go, wow, wasn't that cool? So why do you have so many layers on? And like,
that's Joe McHale's hilarious.
He had like was it Reggie Fils-Aimé, who's like the CEO, the president of Nintendo of America, was on, and he point blank asked him, so what does it feel like to get just destroyed by Sony and Microsoft year in, year out? And just like,
that's crazy.
It's so funny. If you watch a highlight clip of it, totally recommend it. It's one of the funniest things, and it's very like, it just kind of shows that an award show with games just doesn't work because nobody really cares. So,
well, didn't the gaming stuff from Spike spin off into its own channel? I thought it did.
No, it was G4.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But that was from Tech TV.
Oh,
yeah, that's a very different thing. No,
okay.
Man, that was during that era where I think video games were at their peak, where everybody was trying to get in on it, like 2008, 2007ish. So then they did the Video Game Awards, and they kind of refined it and turned it less about this like, hey, award show and celebrating gaming culture and stuff, to just like, because one of the biggest things about it is that that's where all the new trailers kind of dropped for everything next year. Like Metal Gear Solid 5 was first shown there, Death Stranding, stuff like that. So there was, the following year they had a more traditional show, and it was a lot better. It was still super cheesy. Then the year after that they had the same thing, still super cheesy, because they always for some reason have like musical numbers, which makes no sense, because like, oh yeah, I want to watch Churches now, do 3 songs in a row.
That's weird.
Like, no, I just want to see the next trailer for fucking Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Just get on with the show.
Yeah, but it's still like fun to watch because it's getting better every year and they're streamlining it, and it's the Twitter chat is always really funny because it's just people make fun of everything.
Well, it takes a while to get those things hammered out. I mean, the Oscars have been happening for 100 years. A century,
But and then people just get mad at the selection. So we're gonna go over the list of Game of the Year, because that's obviously the most notable, but it's more notable this year because of one reason, and we'll get to that in a second. Tell me what you would vote for Game of the Year. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, PlayerUnknown's Battleground.
I'd probably vote for Horizon.
Yeah, I think I would go with Horizon as well. Maybe Zelda. So the only other interesting one out of all this is Most Anticipated Game, because I think that's the dumbest award to ever give anything, because all those games could suck. But if you look at it, there's one very common theme going on with the Most Anticipated Games, and it's that they're all Sony games.
And they're all sequels.
Yeah. Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Spider-Man. Well, that's new, but it's Spider-Man. And God of War.
This Spider-Man's supposed to be amazing.
It looks so cool.
And God of War is always great.
Out of all of those, I honestly think Red Dead Redemption 2 is the only one I care about.
It looks so good.
So yeah, the Video Game Awards, I honestly think are still stupid, but
it's nice to be represented.
It's fun to watch.
As a community.
Yeah, so kind of wrapping up the news, Deadpool was taken off the Steam store again. So
why? For inappropriate
content? So this Deadpool game came out on the PS3, and it was removed from shelves because Disney bought Marvel, but this game came out right before that. So it's like pre the movie, pre everything. It's not a good game at all. It's actually pretty boring.
It came out a while ago. Yeah.
But then it got pulled off shelves because Disney bought Marvel and blah, blah, blah. Then they did a remaster on PS4, Xbox One. It's not a very good game once again, but it came out around the time in the movie, so people are like,
that's
by the
Deadpool
game.
Seeing it.
Yeah. So now it's being pulled off Steam again for whatever reason. With a lot of these, this happens with Marvel games. They tend to disappear. So like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you can't download it anymore. You had characters that you could get as DLC, you can't get them anymore. So for
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's kind of the only reason it's a news story is because this is like the third time it's happened for this fucking Deadpool game.
That's just annoying.
Yeah, it's so if you have it, you now have a collector's item
until it comes out again.
Yeah, until it comes out again in 6 months as Deadpool 1.5 HD remix. And to end our news, the greatest holiday of all time is coming up. Number 2 to Nicksgiving, Black Friday. What are you gonna get?
I was just about to say, I don't know. I haven't done any Black Friday stuff in a long time.
Well, I'm currently working on the big Black Friday list for TechRaptor. Right now, I know Assassin's Creed is going on sale pretty much everywhere for $40, and that's the time that I buy all my video games.
If there's sales on PlayStation and Amazon, I'll definitely get some stuff. But I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna like go to Guitar Center at 3 a.m. and
so I literally go to Target at 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day.
Target would be, but I heard they're changing the hours of like
they do every year, but it's like
instead of making it midnight, they're doing it at like
it's
4 a.m. or something.
I don't know. It was at 9 p.m. last time, and that was perfect.
9 p.m. Thanksgiving night.
Yeah. Because by that time, I'm so sick of my family. I'm like, I'm gonna go stand in Target's parking lot now. Bye.
Yeah.
And then
I hate you guys so much.
Yeah. And then I come back and go, guys, I bought a blanket.
And just so we're not totally negative on today's weekly news stories, what's something positive that happened to you this week?
So I'm really excited to play LA Noire on the Switch. I never got a chance to play it before, but it always looks super interesting, and being able to take it wherever I want is just like a really cool thing. And I feel like I probably won't play it as much right away, but over Christmas I'll definitely dive into that. So that's like a positive. How about you?
I think the most positive thing still is that Call of Duty World War II is still holding up. I'm having a lot of fun with zombies, multiplayer, and the campaign, and that hasn't happened in a long time. And also, something I think we can both agree on is that Warped Tour is finally coming to an end.
Thank the Lord.